The 2011 SunCity to Table Bay Charity Cycle Tour is proudly brought to you by the Fruit Spot. Anything fresher is still growing. This is the story of an incredible journey, 1,600 kilometers by bicycle from SunCity in the Northwest Province to the Table Bay Hotel in the shadow of Table Mountain in the mother city. For this, the 9th edition of the charity ride, there were 26 cyclists, including 5 novices.
We arrived at SunCity on the 3rd of March and we got to meet the team, and it all started off with a team building exercise, which was actually really funny. We did some gumboot dancing. So the whole team got their pair of gumboots and we started dancing. So it was absolutely fabulous. It was actually very funny. If you don't have co-ords, don't do gumboot dancing. But if you don't have co-ords, it's a good laugh. Let's just put it that way.
South Africa's entertainment mecca, SunCity, has been a loyal supporter of the charity ride for 9 years.
You know, I've heard so much about this tour, you know, SunCity to Table Bay. It's a charity cycle tour, so I'm really excited that it's for charity, it's for a good cause. I'm hoping to be able to do 1,642 Ks. It sounds crazy, but I'm hoping for the best. So hopefully the training pays off and I'm able to do it, especially, as I said, for a good cause.
The atmosphere was one of excitement mixed with trepidation as they lined up for the ceremonial start. Miss South Africa, Bokang Mochane, flagged them away from SunCity. The journey was underway. The legs were feeling good. First stop, Lichtenburg.
Some cyclists, they take it easy. They know how to handle it. They've done this before. But the new guys, they really didn't expect it that hard. You know, all those climbs and the long drags, it was really tough, you know. The tour is something special, you know. It's actually the same route every year, but it's always different and it's something special, and I really enjoy it all the time I come back here.
Team spirit's really about motivation. It's really about getting people through. I saw today somebody staying back, the cyclist's name actually Gary, pushing the rest of the team at the back, you know, actually physically helping them up the hill. And for me to see that, which I've never seen before, was just the helpfulness that, you know, people just help each other, and they're doing this together. It's not about a race, the specific tour. It's not about a race. It's about helping each other. It's about really getting to the end for a good cause.
The main aim of the charity cycle tour is to raise funds for orphan children in various places like SunCity, Kimberley, Worcester and in Table Bay, Cape Town. Our team includes international riders as well as local riders from previously disadvantaged communities, as well as well-known celebrities like Nicole Flint, Miss South Africa 2009.
In Lichtenburg, the riders made their way to their rooms before enjoying a much-needed massage in the gardens of the hotel. A hearty dinner and an early night was next. They still had 1,400 kilometers to go. The riders up long before sunrise, stretching ahead of the longest day of the trip.
We left Lichtenburg nice and early. I think the riders were quite tired from yesterday. We had a little bit of wind and then it turned in our favour, so that helped us quite nicely. We had really good average speeds.
We were very lucky with the weather. We had sort of overcasty weather all day, which was great.
We got to a nice speed of probably just on about 35, 38 average, and we're able to hold that for a large part of the day. On previous tours, whenever we ride through, there's a small town, I forget the name of the settlement, but there's a small rural settlement on the side, and the kids always run past us and scream us along and give us great support. This year we decided, you know, with it being so hot and with them always being there, they're always there for support for us, we stopped in as a good gesture. We gave out a bunch of watermelons, so it was awesome to see some friendly faces and clapping people on the side of the road. Is great.
69-year-old Rainer Stoltz was taking part for the 9th consecutive year. There were 6 international cyclists and 8 ladies, and some strong men as well.
There's no real way to prepare for an event like this, so we had to slow down and take stock and just reposition everybody's strengths within the team.
The team had really put in a hard day's work, and we were all starting to feel a little bit worse for wear towards the end of the day.
I mean, it's only the second day of the tour, and already the guys are contributing, you know, riding in front for 30 minutes at 40 k's an hour. It's not easy on these kind of roads, these kind of conditions. It was generally flatter, but 265 k's takes that out of the best rider.
Absolutely. The signboard indicating the distance to their destination, they were welcome landmarks, an indication that they were almost done for the day. The spirits, though, were still high at the end of a seriously long day in the saddle. In order to ensure that the riders remained in good shape for the following day, a stretching class took place immediately after each day's ride. And a massage was a welcome relief for fatigued muscles.
It's pretty much the longest stage of the tour, and for many people it's the longest distance they will ever have done up to now. So I think as a novice group of cyclists we did exceptionally well.
Day 3 of the tour, we had a short ride from Christiana to Kimberley. We left there at 8 o'clock, so already had to be up at 6 for breakfast. Had a good stretch at 7:30, and then we were off at 8.
It's been different this year with the physios, where we've got active stretching, where before it tends to be the same boring routine. So the guys have been brilliant this year. The active stretching has kept everyone happy and motivated.
The motivation to get from Christiana to Kimberley along the N12, around 120 kilometres, a short day in the context of the whole ride.
It always tends to be very quick into Kimberley, just based on past tours. It tends to be very quick. Thankfully it was a short day. Because it's quick, the guys tend to go quite fast.
Unfortunately, we didn't get the cloud cover we got on the second day, but it wasn't a crazy hot day, and it was great pace. At one point we were going 51 kilometers per hour, which is great. Always when you have the tandems in front, that always happens. We're all pushing ourselves. It's not a daily thing that you do, you know. There's a lot of training in it, so you can see people are going, you know, doing their best, and everyone's out of their comfort zones.
Aside from the riders' physical effort, there was a social upliftment element. And while overnighting at the Flamingo Casino in Kimberley, they made a generous contribution to children living in impoverished communities.
The SunCity Cycles Tour came through today. We are very delighted as Flamingo Casino. They've actually contributed a total amount of 20,000, which we have actually split between 2 daycare centers, the Ebongo Daycare Center and the Promised Land Daycare Center. These daycare centers are both situated in Khalishiwe, and they're catering for, you know, most of the kids who are in the impoverished communities.
The support staff hard at work packing trucks and driving the support vehicles.
In the 8 years of the 8 tours that I've done, this crew has been one of the best.
Without their support, obviously we would not be able to do this event, because they're looking after us, bringing our bottles, they are there, they're encouraging the guys, they're assisting the guys with everything, from packing to physios to the paramedics. I mean, everybody is really doing their part.
Within 2 hours, these guys knew exactly what to do. They just caught on. They were there when they had the first stop. They were there with the biltong, with everything to help the people, with the water, with the coke. We take about a year to organize an event like this. We need a cooler truck for all the food stuff that we do take along, as well as the water, coke and everything. And then we've got 2 support buses who actually pull trailers, that can actually take all the bikes if in case of emergency where we need to get off, like when there's a thunderstorm, etc. When you're going through those stages where you really just feel like you can't take this heat anymore, your legs are burning, everything is just so painful and so severe, you think of the reason why you're doing this. You think of the charity, you think of the people, for instance, at Moira's house in Worcester, where the kids didn't have a bathroom, and you know that the money that you are donating, this effort that you're going to put there, will actually bring a bathroom to those kids.
It's 4:45 and I'm really tired.
It was rising sun at about 3:30 this morning.
I have pains in places I never thought I had places.
Yes, it was tired bodies and minds gathering in the early morning darkness for a stretch and a warm-up before the start of the fourth stage. Again, reflective gear needed for the first hour or so.
Riding in the dark, you know, getting up really early and starting early it's quite a challenge. You know, there's so many safety precautions that you've got to take. You can't see anything in the road, and that's where team spirit and team camaraderie really comes in. If somebody has gone past something, whoever's in the front really has to warn the people at the back.
The early morning sky highlighted the serene, spectacular beauty of the Northern Cape as they crossed the Orange River en route to Britstown on what was to be a very testing day for all the riders.
It's 265 kilometers, which is, in real terms, it's a hard ride for anybody.
You can't imagine sitting in a saddle for 8 hours. You can't, and you can't really prepare for that. You don't. You prepare, you go and cycle for 4 hours, maybe 5 hours, and then you get on a day like this and you need to sit in the saddle for 8 hours. It's very tough.
People are very excited about a day like today because we've crossed the halfway mark. So by now you can see some of the guys picking up small injuries, which obviously physios needs to take care of and make sure that everybody's back on their bikes tomorrow morning.
The stop at Stradenburg gave the riders a chance to take on much-needed liquid and for the medical team to assess the physical state of the riders.
Well, it's day 4 now, so you can see that the muscles are starting to get tired and maybe some overuse injuries starting to happen, but I know they're going to pull through. When we get back at night in the evenings, we get rubbed down, and then en route, just making sure the muscles are relaxed, some shaking of the muscles, and there where taping needs to be done to offload muscles to do that.
On such a long day, they couldn't waste too much time sitting in the shade. It was back into the saddle and on the road. The focus serious now. There were clouds looming, though.
We stopped, our last stop was about 30 kilometers from Britstown. You could actually see in the distance that it was raining very hard, and we hoped that we're going to miss it. But eventually it caught us, and then we cycled for about 10 kilometers in very, very hard rain.
Really tough conditions, but the rain failed to dampen their enthusiasm to finish the day. And they were soon rolling into the Karoo Country Lodge in Britstown. The stretch, but they just couldn't wait for the cold beer to ease the pain of a long day's riding. There are a few prettier sights than a Karoo sunrise under a cloudy sky. Shortly after dawn, they were on the road again, heading for Beaufort West, 257 kilometers away.
Day 5. Are we getting stronger? You feel good? Are we ready for it?
The overcast conditions gave way to thin cirrus cloud by mid-morning.
Not trusting the Karoo sun. I heard it's toxic.
On unprotected skin it is. The pace had eased considerably in the hot conditions. The group approaching the second monster day with due caution, with the occasional unscheduled stop.
Every time somebody got a puncture, they had to fall back and fix their own tyres and so on, and get back into the bus and rejoin the peloton a little bit later.
Bye-bye.
The pace was to escalate as they tried to break the speed limit. No fines in this peloton though. The Merino and Dorper sheep capital of the Karoo, Victoria West.
We're at the Manikizuru Museum in Victoria West, on our way to Beaufort West. Almost there.
and we're in the museum now, and it's just all about the rugby legend.
Tot ziens Mannetjiesroo, the road beckoned. It was clear the stop had rejuvenated the group as they surged along the N12. This is the highway that links the northwest with the Northern Cape and Karoo and joins the N1 near Three Sisters. And it was here that the riders enjoyed their final stop of the day. Fuel for the body was needed. And massages were in high demand. There was even time for teamwork in the stretching. Again, the rest was brief, but energizing. They were soon humming along the N1.
As the rest of the cyclists pushed on through and wanted to end the day, it proved too much for one of our first-time cyclists who did the mature thing and got off the bike when nobody told her to.
I don't feel well, I'm chilly, I'm nauseous, so I don't want to get up on the bike.
And after recovering for about an hour, she got back onto the bike and really just enjoyed the rest of the trip.
Beaufort West's famous son, Professor Chris Barnard, would have been proud of her cautious approach to health. The breathtaking vistas in the Karoo worth the long ride, but first, a post-ride stretch.
It's not a lot. Oh yeah, yeah.
Today was a really difficult stage for us. I've never ridden into Beaufort West myself in previous tours. We've never actually been able to complete the stage due to really poor weather. It's quite a hilly route, and coming into Beaufort was really challenging for us. A lot of the riders starting to suffer a lot from heat rash, dehydration, those kind of things.
Frankly, there's an oak upstairs there. It's called Spikes. It comes down hard on you in the Karoo. It doesn't matter what you got on, it goes right through it. It's called the sun.
And Spike did make his presence felt for a while before dipping in the west. The road between Beaufort West and Laingsburg is achingly long by car. But by now, with over 1,100 kilometers in their legs, the riders were in fine shape to tackle the challenge. The support crew made sure they didn't get too bored. The recently resurfaced road was a dream to ride on. And soon the group were turning on the speed, driven by those turbo-powered tandems on the front. No doubt a surprising sight for the roadside workers. Time though for a quick snack.
We've got some of the best sponsors with regards to nutritional products on the market, which really help us to keep those nutrient levels topped up to the best that they can be, and obviously hydrated. So we've got all the big sponsors behind us.
Good? Feeling good today?
And cheerleaders in Liuchamka. The riders would need all the encouragement they could get. It was a really tough day. After the obligatory stretch, nothing more welcome than a dip in the pool after a day in the searing Karoo sun. The tragic flood in the 80s in Laingsburg. Remembered. Sandstone churches, it's a beautiful town in the middle of the Karoo. It was another pre-dawn departure the next day for the trip to Worcester, 180 kilometers away.
We started with about a 25-kilometer climb, which was quite trying, but a very nice pace, and the guys worked very well together.
Today was, for me, one of the hardest days because there were a lot of hills, and I was struggling because there was a lot of wind as well.
I did Ironman last year for the first year, and this is definitely harder. I think just from a psychological perspective, just Ironman is one very hard day, but it's over in a day and then you can recover for as many days as you like. Whereas with the tour, you're getting up early every morning and you're riding over 200 Ks every day. You're motivating yourself. We go through dips during the day also where sometimes you've had enough, or your bum's getting sore, or your legs are sore. So you go through quite a lot of emotions as well on the tour, and obviously that's where the rest of the team and the support and what have you come into it.
Although they had 6 days behind them, this was a hard day. The finish was close, but bodies and minds were tired, and teamwork and camaraderie was essential to keep everyone positive and focused. The climb away from the Karoo was testing, but helping hands were available all the time to assist the weaker riders. The reward was a long downhill into the Hex River Valley. Speeds close to 100 kilometers an hour were reached. A serious thrill.
It was amazing. We just came past or down the Hatfield Pass, and it was one of the best feelings ever. So exhilarating. It was insane. The wind was really bad though, so we couldn't go as fast as we wanted to go. But this is one of the best things I've ever done. It was so much fun.
It's the adrenaline rush. Ultimate.
The stark, arid beauty of the Karoo was soon replaced by the spectacular mountains and vineyards of the Western Cape.
A wonderful thing about the tour was really about the countryside and so on, changing over 1,600 Ks. And from the bush near SunCity to the beauty of the arid Karoo, and arriving in the Cape with beautiful winelands and majestic mountains and so on.
Having slipped through the Hex River Valley, Worcester was just up the road, and the group turned off the N1 to be welcomed to the Golden Valley Casino Complex at the end of 7 remarkable days.
It's emotional. I think it's something that I never thought would happen, and that we got there safely and everything. And I have to be here, and it's quite emotional. But yeah, it's fun. It was a once in a lifetime experience.
I feel good. It's really a privilege, and it's grace, and it's wonderful to be here.